I do believe Erica Banks is a friend of the channel.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
do
totally.
believe she's a friend of the channel, and I think, as a matter of fact, I think the last time we talked about Erica Banks was also a BBL related topic, and
Hysterical.
so that is the place that she holds for us here on Conscious Approach. Is that seems to be the only contribution that she's making to the world at the moment
Yeah,
is is
honestly.
is BBL talk. And so I found this to be very sad and unfortunate to read. And so hence I brought it up as a potential topic for tonight's stream. Carl Crawford is apparently, now this is Carl Crawford, who used to be a Major League Baseball player.
Hmm.
And so I guess he's her manager or he's her label head. He's the CEO of the label that she signed to. And Carl Crawford was talking about how he paid for her first BBL surgery and how moving forward, because of the impact that BBLs have on female artists, is something that he's going to continue to do, I guess. So this says Carl Crawford admits he paid for Erica Banks' first BBL and resurface interview. Erica Banks has made plenty of headlines in recent months for her controversial cosmetic enhancements. Reportedly, she's had two BBLs. This is a procedure that involves extracting fat from areas of the body, like the abdomen or thighs, and transferring it to the buttocks. While many agree that she looks great, I don't know who those people are.
Hmm.
Others think she might have gone overboard, leading to an unnatural looking outcome. Recently, a Carl Crawford interview with Real Life Productions from earlier this year resurfaced, in which he admits that he actually paid for Banks' first BBL. According to him, he saw it gave the FMC a major confidence boost, so he started including it in the budget when signing new artists. uh,
Oh, brother.
why Erica Banks? Let's see. So this goes into some of the comments, I think. Uh, yeah. Why did he feel the need to let us know this? Like, are we supposed to look at him as a savior? One comment wonders. I'm glad Meg is no longer under this man. He could never. Another claims, referring to former 1501 signee Megan the Stallion. Banks has been transparent about the downsides that come along with BBLs. During an interview with Beehive ATL last August, for example, she revealed that recovery definitely wasn't easy for her. Quote, the healing process and going through it like the first day until you've healed is hell, she explained at the time. Probably the worst pain I've ever experienced in my whole life. The first day I passed out. The pain is just excruciating, because the inside of your body is like brutalized. It took a while. I probably didn't stop hurting all the way until like April, and I got my surgery in December. I just stopped hurting in April. So here's Mr. Crawford talking about adding BBLs to the budget of these artist deals.
Did you ever push her to be like a sex symbol, or is that where she wanted to go with it?
Yeah, she kind of when I met her, she was already wearing like little tight little clothes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So they all wanted that. That was the era of sexy women rapping. So with that being said, yeah, I was just trying to get her, dolled up. Excuse me. Just so she can, look cute out there, have confidence, all that type of stuff. Well, we did a lot of artist development with
so when you do artist development, does that have to do with surgery and stuff like that, or is that?
Well, I'll tell you what. The first time, you know what I'm saying, it didn't have nothing to do with it. But we asked her, the first surgery she got, we helped her get that. You know what I'm saying, and I saw the confidence go out the roof. But that wasn't part of artist development. It's just what she wanted at the time. And I ain't gonna lie, when the first one, you know what I'm saying, when it happened. Yeah, she was turned up, man. You know what I'm saying? Everything was perfect, and I was like, oh wow, I'm gonna keep 20 bands to the side for any artist, any next girl artist that come. Yeah, I'm gonna just have that on the table, because getting the BBL seemed to bring a lot of confidence to these girls.
All right, so what did you think about that piece there? Him talking about keeping 20 grand to the side for future female artists.
That's crazy that artist development has now turned into artist body development. That's Erica Banks. I don't know one song of hers. I'm sure in the days of me, because when I first heard of her, it was on some ridiculous stuff. And so I was like, all right, well, let me just, click on a video. So I clicked on a video and she was doing stereotypical box rap. So, I wasn't moved by it. So, but I don't remember what the song was about. Or, I know what it was about, but I don't know what the bars, the beat. Like if you play it for me right now and they'll say, is this Erica Banks? I wouldn't be able to tell you. She is known more or less for her BBL body. And it's not even top tier.
Yeah, hers is one of the more atrocious, cartoonish examples of what goes on with this stuff.
In the movie Limitless, that's one of my favorite movies. When they was giving them the pill or whatever, and they said, it works better if you're already smart, and BBLs work better if you already have body. You can't help anybody, man. So if Erica Banks actually had the figure and then you plumped it up a little bit, so be it. But it looks as though, she didn't really have the frame to put it on there. And the reason why I go there with, and I don't, people will call it body shaming or whatever, but listen, man, this BBL stuff, this false sense of confidence and all of those other things that come along with it. I really don't care for it. I don't like it, but we are here in society. This is where things are right now, and this is how things are popping. So of course, an ex-MLB player does an interview and says that, he's saving $20K for a female rapper just to shoot her up with these things and send her on her way so people can click on her stuff, not for her music, but for eye candy. And so there are men out there that have plastic fetishes and women that have plastic fetishes. So this is why Erica Banks is relevant. I mentioned to you before, we were talking about some other topic and I brought up Erica Banks because I saw a video of her recently where she was going on tour in strip clubs, though.
Yeah.
And she was doing tours for stripping, but calling it promoting for her album. But nobody wants to listen to your music. They would rather watch you, clap cheeks on stage. And so if I'm this guy, this Crawford guy, and I'm in the rap game for all the wrong reasons where, like he is, of course I would do this. This is money hand over fist. You can create an artist just honestly based on her figure, or her face or whatever. BBL her up. The music don't even have to be good. This stuff is below mid. People say, "Oh, that's mid," whatever. This is bottom of the barrel, bottom shelf stuff. At least Megan Thee Stallion had flows. I mean, the girl can rap her ass off. Whether other people are writing those lyrics, which of course, but she can rap.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, she can rap though. She's got good breath control. She has presence on the mic. These Erica Banks, she's just saying that she's slower repetitively, and there's no talent there. So all that stuff to say is that no, I don't stand behind this. I don't care for it, to be honest. But at the same time, I am not surprised. And I would say if I was a Crawford guy, I would say to him that that's a hell of a business model. Why not, ride those wheels until it fall off? Because right now the game is oversaturated. So, but if you could put you a nice BBL 304 out there and put a microphone in front of her, you might be able to. She might blow up and turn into a sexy red, and now you can flip that to Atlantic or any other record label and get a bag out of it. So it's not a bad business model, I would say. But what are your thoughts on this Carl Crawford guy saying that he dropped the bag for Erica Banks to have multiple BBLs and decided this is actually a business model for him. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, I don't really have much more to add to what you said. I pretty much agree with all of that. I just find it astounding how, when I believe that, stuff like this can't get any more pervasive. I come across stories like this and I gain a better understanding of just how pervasive it is. The fact that, because, I don't think that this is the only example that we can unearth of entertainment deals with cosmetic surgeries built into the budget of any particular performing artist or something like that. But the fact that it is built into the budget by his own words is something that I am not okay with, because first of all, it doesn't look good. It just looks bad. And I don't understand. I've given up trying to understand this stuff because, I kind of feel like I'm banging my head against the wall,
You are.
engaging in an exercise in futility, trying to understand the psychology behind this. It's no different than trying to understand why dudes spend money on OnlyFans. I've given up because all the logic in the world can't help me grasp why a person would allocate their hard-earned money to that abomination of a platform. And if I can't wrap my mind around understanding that, then I'm certainly not going to be able to wrap my mind around understanding why things like BBLs have become so aggressively mainstream. And I merely just have to accept it as the state of affairs. I just thought it was interesting that, this guy keeps $20,000 aside for a female artist who wants to do something like this, as if it's almost incumbent upon a female hip hop artist to undergo these procedures, because otherwise there's no point in even trying to be an artist.
Correct.
Like, it just kind of seems like that's where we've gotten to with this. And if your examples are all the top female artists in the game, I guess I can't blame you for feeling like that, because they all follow the same blueprint. They all got plastic, fake, cartoonish looking bodies. Whether you want to talk about now, Meg, allegedly is not, at least in that area. I don't know about her face or whatever, but in terms of like, she hasn't done the BBL thing. But all of these other people, whether it's Cardi B or Nicki Minaj or, Erica Banks or, the litany of the rest of these chicks who do this, they've all done it. So if you're trying to copy that blueprint because you perceive that to be the route to success, I suppose I can't blame you. But how pervasive it's become is truly appalling. I think it's sad, albeit, not surprising. And, the point about, this giving her confidence, like what externally has given her the indication that doing that is what's going to give you more confidence? I feel like that's the kind of layer that we have to peel back when it comes to stuff like this. Like, what is it that you are consuming from a media messaging environmental standpoint on a regular basis, which has informed you that doing this is going to contribute to an increase in your confidence? Because clearly it's not a concept that we can accept across the board, because there's plenty of women in the world who don't do it and they have plenty of confidence. So what is it about what you're doing and the decisions that you make in your life which leads you to believe that doing this is going to give you more confidence? What is the external gratification that you're receiving that leads you to believe that by going under the knife in this manner, you're going to receive more confidence? I think it's sad and unfortunate, but it is what it is. She's inconsequential in any way because her music doesn't matter. Therefore, she does not matter. But the pervasive nature, the pervasive way that people are leaping to making these kinds of decisions on the grounds that they need to do these things in order to get more confidence in themselves is truly the unfortunate part.
Yeah, man. And I've said this before, and I'll say it here again, that we all know that men and women are different. All right. We all know some people. we all know that we're different. All right. Men are on one side of the spectrum. The women are the complete opposite. All right. In order to be the yin to the yang or the yang to the yin. All right. And so men are on a plug, on an outlet. They're the senders, and women being the actual socket, being the receivers. All right. The same could be seen for, genital areas and everything like that. So the same thing goes when it comes to selling of sex. So for men who are out of, they're not balanced when it comes to sexuality and stuff, they'll pay for sex. So like literally or through OnlyFans things or whatever, because sexually they're not balanced on the right spectrum. They're over sexualized. So women who are over sexualized generally don't spend money for whatever, they sell it. So women who are on the equivalent exchange of men buying it, women are the sellers. So Erica Banks, in this situation where she didn't have any confidence, in her body because she is a person that was living on the spectrum of over sexualization, but she didn't have enough to sell. So once she got her BBL, that gave her the confidence in being a good seller of her sexual nature because she's been getting more buyers, which adds to her psychosis. So the over sexualization, so women take a high horse generally because they like to pride themselves on not buying sex like a man would. Well, you're not a man. Men have to buy it. You can't sit there on your high horse and be a seller as a woman. So that's what your thirst trap pictures. It's as innocent as that. The thirst trap pictures, the whatever things that you do in public, where you're, selling yourself sexually. You say, well, I just like these clothes. No, you like selling this image of yourself so you can get attention. And that attention that you're getting is a type of currency. You're selling yourself. And so everybody has this, a lot of people have this issue when it comes to this, like we like to talk about consumerism and corporate way of things, where there's a sexualization that has been sold, over sexualization has been sold to everybody. And so it comes out in these various ways that men are now buyers, hand over fist buyers, and women are becoming sellers at an incredible rate. And so, of course, all female artists that are a part of this cabal industry are in this lustful nature where they have to sell themselves sexually. But most of them don't have bodies, all right, because, they had to have some level of talent. See, some people, like Lil Wayne is short. Plies is short. I want to see the average height of a rapper. It's probably something like 5'6".
No, it's gotta be taller than that. It can't be
5'7". I'll give you 5.
I would say like 5'8", 5'9".
Not even. These are short guys. These are short people. And so when you see a rapper that's over 6 feet, you go, oh, that's different. But most of these guys are small people. They had to find a way to make it out because basketball, football wasn't their thing. So they got into something. They used talent to use it towards making music or whatever. This is a theory of mine. So the same thing goes for women that they didn't have whatever, so they got more into music. They're more musically inclined. Whether I like Erica Banks' music or not, she probably always would tell you that she loved music and wanted to make it. But I really don't think she did. But that was her way of making it because of X, Y, Z or whatever. And so now, in order to put these women over the hump, you got to shoot them up with stuff. You saw how Nicki Minaj looked before surgeries. So it's the same thing. And so in order to sell it to people, they gotta cake them up. So hey man, it is what it is.
Yeah, I feel you, bro. I don't disagree with that, but there's also something culturally going on with that because I'm fairly certain, and I don't have any data to back this up. I don't have any data to back this up, but I'm just going based off of my observation that if you were to go and look in the pop music field, for example, or country music, there's plenty of women in country music. There's plenty of women making pop music. I feel pretty confident in saying that the ratio of women who have had BBLs in country music and pop music juxtaposed to the ratio of women who didn't do it in those genres is far less than the ratio of women in hip hop who did BBLs versus the women who didn't do BBLs in hip hop.
And hold on, and go, I'll caveat that, and because I'll caveat that because BBLs is our thing culturally, but if you're talking about breast augmentation or nose, because that's what they do over there.
Yeah, but we're doing those too, though. So no, we are, bro. I'm telling you, look, I'm telling you, I would love. We need to do a follow up on this one because all of those women that I'm like, Nikki, she's had them all. Cardi B, she's done it all. She ain't do just the BBL. She also has the chest area done. Nikki has the chest area done. A lot of these chicks are doing all of them. The point that I'm bringing up is let's just strip it. Let's just take it specific to the BBL thing. Okay. I don't disagree with you, but I do believe that there's a type of confidence affirmation that they're seeking through this kind of behavior. I don't believe that before Erica Banks got BBL, she wasn't getting male attention. I don't believe she was not getting male affirmation before BBLs. Did it change or get elevated to a certain level afterwards? Yeah, but I believe that the impetus for the decision to do it was due to her desire to get a greater amount of a certain type of attention based on that particular look.
Correct.
Because if it was just about getting more attention, period, or getting greater levels of affirmation, period, you would see more instances of this going on in other genres. But you don't see more instances of it going on in other genres because notions of confidence juxtaposed to attention and affirmation come in different forms than what that comes in the form of when we're talking about this particular kind of music, where there's a particular kind of look that sells. And that particular kind of look is in pursuit of a particular kind of attention, in my opinion, if any of that makes sense. So like, and this is the last thing that I'll say, and I believe I've mentioned this on this channel before. I was having a conversation with my sister a while back, and she was on the phone with one of her friends, and they were talking about men. So my sister pulled me into the conversation because, to my sister's credit, she didn't want to do the thing that women do a lot, which is stupid, where you have conversations about men but don't involve men in the conversation. So she called me in to ask me for my opinion on some of the stuff that her friend was saying. And her friend was talking about how she's struggling in relationships because she's not finding the kind of guy she's looking for. She's struggling and she looks for this and she wants this, right? And so the thing that she kept saying repeatedly was that she likes men who have ambition. And I asked her a question. I said, okay, well, what if it was a guy who was a regional manager at Walmart? Would you date that guy? And she said no. And I said, why? And she said, well, I just like a guy who has ambition. I want a guy who has ambition. And I said, well, if a guy is a regional manager at Walmart, he's climbing the Walmart ladder. He probably runs all the stores in that area, which Walmarts these days, there can be 3 to 4 different stores in any particular district. So if a guy's an area manager, he's managing all of those stores. Now it's Walmart, but in a vacuum, that is a form of ambition. He's climbing the Walmart ladder and he's made it to the point where he's an area manager. So that is ambition. So why is that insufficient based upon your preferences? And she basically just wouldn't date the guy that I was describing not because he wasn't ambitious, but because it was Walmart. And so my thing with her was I was trying to help her to understand it isn't necessarily that you want a guy who's ambitious. You actually care about the type of ambition, because you're not running into guys who are not running into men who are ambitious, but you're also not running into men who have the type of ambition that you're looking for. You've gotten so centralized in your search that the specific type of ambition is something that you're prioritizing. And the reason why I bring that up is because stuff like this with this BBL stuff, these women, in my opinion, are doing this not because they are devoid of attention or affirmation, but because they're looking for a certain type of frequency, a certain type of vibration. And I think that that's a certain type of frequency and vibration that eventually leads to ruination, in my opinion. It's no secret why we're not talking about any of this woman's music. I Like You. I can only name one song that I've heard from this chick, and that's that Busted song that came out however many years ago. Other than that, I don't know what songs that she's made, because when it comes to music itself, she's inconsequential, because what her true art is sex. And so I kind of feel like when you embody that and that's what you got going on, there's only but so many different avenues that you're going to open up for yourself. And opportunities in business and art aren't one of them. So, good luck to her and all these other chicks who feel like they got to do this to get confidence. I do think that this is a cultural observation more than anything else. And I'm just not buying it. And I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think that reproductive reasons why sex is important. It's important for reproduction and a multitude of other reasons. But when sex gets bastardized, then we have over-sexualization, and then a problem ensues from there. Culturally, certain cultures like certain things. So, for instance, man, culturally in country music, for instance, it's having a fatty isn't necessary over there. Being a pop star, having a fatty isn't necessary.
Let me cut you off real quick. When I talk about cultural differences, I wasn't talking about race. So I just want to be clear. I'm just clarifying.
And what I'm saying is, country music aren't asking for fatties.
I don't know, man.
Pop music is an asking for fatties. But over here, where the music is predominantly in a type of area for reproductive things, these guys like big derrieres. That's just how it goes for reproduction. But it's out of control. It's bastardized so it's to the point that even plastic will stimulate his brain. But that person's in a different space. So culture. So it's gonna look different. It's gonna look different in hip hop than it does in other genres of stuff. It's just gonna look that way. And because hip hop has centered around stripper culture, in its music videos for decades, the ideal type of woman was stripper thick. And if Erica Banks looked a particular way, like a stripper, but didn't have the stripper thickness, because apparently she didn't, she had to go get surgeries for it, then she wanted to be stripper thick. And so yeah, culturally, it looks like that over here on this side of the street. But the phenomenon reigns true against all, where over sexualization, because that whole Sydney Sweeney thing that's going on with her Good Genes commercial, with her saying all this other stuff, she's hypersexualized. She doesn't need a BBL to do it, but she's selling it. So everybody's out here doing it. Last thing I'll say, that Lil Tay girl, she just turned 18. Yeah, and it came out with OnlyFans and millions of dollars overnight. She don't need a BBL. So in different cultures, there's different things. But if there was a 18-year-old that was in our world, whatever that is, and then she she would open the OnlyFans at 18, make the millions of dollars, and get a BBL tomorrow. It's just what it is over here for reproductive things. But the reproduction aspect that everybody's living on is out of control, is off balance, and overstimulated. So people are doing things to the max in the extreme. So surgeries and stuff, it looks no different. But that's why people are getting in the feet and other weird things, because they're just looking for the next kink or whatever to get off on. And so this, to me, this shows the problem that everybody's having, that men are having from buying it too much, and women are having or selling too much. But I think that, you know, it looks like this in hip hop for a particular reason, and it looks like in whatever it looks like in other cultures for its own reason. But the bottom line is over sexualization.
I hear all of that. Everybody likes booty though. We are. I don't want to. This is the last thing I'll say. I know I said that last time. Everybody likes booty. We are well past. We are at least one generation removed from this idea, this myth, that only certain cultures of people find that as an attractive thing when it comes to selling sex, buying sex, all of that stuff that you're talking about. Everybody likes booty. But I think that, I'm going to just say it plainly, I think the way certain, what's the right way to say this without being offensive? I think the way certain people go about maximizing their potential within that particular context, certain people are more likely than not to try to achieve that maximization via natural means, and versus other people who are more likely than not to achieve that maximization via artificial means, I guess is the most PC way that I can put it. Now, once again, I'm not trying to create this dichotomy racially, although there are some commonalities, but everybody likes booty. Everybody likes booty. Like, you can, I'm pretty sure if you did a Google search right now, or you went to World Star and you typed in Pawg, Pawg, you see nothing but these fair-skinned, exotic-looking women with those same kind of body types that you're talking about. I feel like we are slowly but surely at a point where everybody universally understands that that is an ideal form of attractiveness. But I do think that there is a means by which people choose to maximize that. Some people are more apt to do it artificially, and others are more apt to try to not do it artificially. So, you know, there you go.
I'm not going to drop this, and this is what I'm going to say. Your Pawg situation. If that was mainstream, then you would see more people do that. But it's not.
What do you mean it's not though?
It's not mainstream. Sydney Sweeney is mainstream. Taylor Swift is mainstream. You know, Adele looked how she looked, and then she did what she did by natural means. But whatever, she lost the weight. There's a culturally, there's ways that, yeah, everybody likes ass. Who doesn't like ass? All right?
That's all I'm saying.
But what I'm saying is, black guys love ass. We really do. But then you go in other communities, it might vary. Hey, they like a little bow, but they like boobies. You know, it goes. And my thing is, I hear your point. All right, because our women are greatly desired. All right, so I hear your point where you're saying that everybody likes it. But my thing is that when it comes to the stereotypical hot woman, you get all of the stuff that we got, 90210, Baywatch, and all that other stuff. When it comes to that side of the aisle, that's their ideal form of beauty. And so from there, everything gets in line with that. All right. And so ours is slightly different. And that's why ours goes in the direction that goes in. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'll say about that.
That's fine. Yeah.
Because, but if Pawg was Taylor Swift, if that was whoever in the 90s, Pamela Anderson, if that was that, then it'll be a different thing today.
I think it's evolved though. I do think that we're closer to that point. Like I think
it's getting
I
there.
think,
So
I
then
think what
you'll
I
see
think
the BBLs increase. Is my point.
okay, that's fine. You might be right. You might be right. But I kind of feel like based on what I've seen and based on what I've experienced, I don't know that that's necessarily true because I kind of feel like I think it's a value set. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might be right, but I do think that there is, based upon how you perceive the world and how you look at yourself juxtaposed to various standards of attractiveness, you either will be more likely to choose to go the BBL route, or you can be the one who's more likely to try to put the hard work in the gym. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. You could be right. You could be right. I'm not saying that you're wrong necessarily, but I think that the archetype that you're describing is something that's maybe 15, 20 years old. Like at this point, we're
Oh
closer to being,
yeah, I know. Yeah,
at this point, we're being close. At this point, we're closer to being in the middle in terms of that kind of look being something that is universally regarded as attractive. Now, within that, there might be varying degrees where maybe you think this is too big or you think this is too small or whatever. But generally speaking, curves and thickness and all of that kind of stuff has become more centralized in terms of perceptions of attractiveness from what I've seen and from what I've experienced. So I mean, if we want to use Hollywood as the barometer for a lot of that stuff, which I can see why you go that, why you would take it there, I get that. But I'm giving a boots on the ground, like in the streets perception observation. That's kind of where my vantage point is coming from, because I don't keep up enough with all of that Sydney Sweeney and all of that kind of stuff. Like I hear what you're saying for sure, and I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm crazy. Everything I'm saying might be insane. I get that, but you know, I kind of feel like we're getting to a point where we're more in the middle with that than being apart.
Now that I agree with, because they be coming. See, they didn't used to come out with yam plates before. Before they would come out with flipping what do you call that? Some not cocktail. What do you call it? What did they bring to the damn cookout? A green bean casserole. They'll come out with a green bean casserole, hips and ass. But now they're bringing yams, and they're saying, "Hey, look at my yams." I'm seeing a lot more yams lately in that community than I did previously, and the reason being is because we are moving more to the middle. All right, but my thing is we'll see the ramifications of all of this socialization for future generations, and then now we'll see if augmentation becomes more mainstream, because they are just now getting to the point where they're in the middle. And at some point it'll get to the point to where it's like, hey, look, to hell with doing it the real way. Let me just go ahead and whoop-de-whoop it. But I agree with you, bro. This is not 1997. All right, I'm seeing way too many yams, more than I used to.
I'll say this, bro. I'll say this, man. Get yourself a gym membership, bro. Get yourself a gym membership, and I want you to just go to a gym one day and just do a head count of the amount of women in other communities who match the body type, and they don't have BBLs. I'm welcoming you to do that thought experiment for yourself, and you come back to me with the data that you come back to me with. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be a lot or a ton, but I think it might be more than you realize. But I do hear you on one front, though, as things become more aggressively mainstream and normalized, who knows what's going to happen. But, I kind of took this off the rails a little bit. I do think a part of the decision to do something like that does have something to do with like value sets and the likelihood that a person is more likely to say, I'm gonna try and get that body the natural way versus trying to get that body the artificial way. And hey, man, there's definitely other communities who are doing it, man. I'm not gonna be up here misleading folks. I go to the gym very often, and there's a plethora of people who are outside of my community that you can look at and be like, that's not real.
Yeah,
but
Spanish wouldn't be going crazy with
they do. Yes, they do. Absolutely, they definitely do.
But have you seen Telemundo? No wonder.
But I also will say that in the real world, not in entertainment celebrity world, I also see a whole lot of them who are trying to get that body the natural way. One thing is for sure, I can tell you for sure, they don't desire to be thin, skinny, not thick, not have curves. You can tell the way that they're going about doing their business that their intent is to keep as much of their curves as possible and to try and do it au natural. But I'm not trying to tell people how they should do it, live their lives. But I'm just saying that everybody likes booty. That's all I'll say.
That should be on the t-shirt, bro. That should be a slogan that we got. Everybody loves booty. And I agree.
You went to that when we went to that FSU tailgate a couple years ago, it was a whole lot of booty out there. So
yeah, I cannot confirm nor deny.
3 years ago.
Crazy.
Hey, shouts out to Erica Banks and her smelly BBL.
Unbelievable.
Good luck to her. That was an interesting conversation.